Ashlyn, and tonight we're going to be doing a little bit of a reformer flow. This is my model, Jennifer. Jennifer, do you have any health conditions or any injuries that we need to be aware of tonight?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and have you lay your head back, and I'm going to adjust your springs, and we are going to start with 2 reds and a green. Okay, so we're going to start with our toes in V foot, our toes on the bar in V foot position, and we're going to go ahead and just take a moment and take a few deep breaths, arms flat by your side, head relaxed in the headrest. You can tilt the headrest up if you would like it, or if you prefer it down. Do you have a preference?
No, this is good.
Okay. And so from here, let's go ahead and push out through our toes, keeping those heels lifted in that V foot, and bring it back in. We're looking for a neutral spine, which means there's just a small gap between your lower back. Or if you imprinted, then that gap would be gone, but we're looking for a neutral spine at this point, a stable pelvis, and you should be feeling this through the backs of your legs. Remembering to breathe, and arms down at your side, and we're gonna go for 5 more, just kind of warming up through the backs of our legs. Let's do 4. 3. 2, and 1. Beautiful. Let's meet back at the stopper. And from here, we're going to move to our heels in second position, which is wide on the foot bar. All right. So from here, just even pressure through those heels. Feet tilted back, which you're already dorsiflex, which you're already doing. And let's go ahead and push out, keeping that tailbone flat on the reformer. I don't want you tilting up or rocking forward, continuing that neutral spine. This is looking really nice. This is a move where you could add hand movements if you wanted. Footwork is always an option for that once you're in level 1.5. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and just keep it simple and do some footwork without the weights. Okay. On this next one, let's pause halfway in, and we're gonna do some little pulses. And I don't want it to be like rocking or jumping, I just want it to be slow and controlled, just a small movement. And let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's meet back at the stopper. All right, that's looking really great. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and progress into a little bit of a different variation of footwork. We're gonna go into some single leg footwork. So what I'm gonna go ahead and have you do is I'm gonna have you put your feet in your toes on the bar, parallel, hip distance apart. And I'm gonna have you extend out and bring it back in for me, just to get a feel for that. And now I'm gonna have you bring one leg up into tabletop. So I'm gonna have you now extend out and just kind of bring it back in and just get a feel for what it's like with one leg in tabletop. As you can see, she's keeping her leg at a nice 90 degrees. It's not too far forward, it's not too far back. She's keeping it nice and stationary. On this next one, I'm gonna have her, when her foot on the foot bar is bent in, I'm gonna have her extend her other foot out. And then we're gonna bring it back in and extend out, pointing those toes. Imagine trying to poke a hole through the wall when you're reaching past that foot bar, reaching over the reformer. Back in tabletop, pointing that toe. And let's go for 3 more. 3, 2, keeping that neutral spine, breathing, and 1. Great, so now that you're nice and warmed up, and for this video, we're only gonna do one side, but always, if you do a single side or single leg work, you would always wanna make sure to do the other side. So from here, we're gonna go into some bridging. So there are a couple things to know. Jennifer is not currently pregnant, but if she was, she can do bridging regular as anybody else would do it on the reformer up until the first trimester. Once you're past the first trimester, then we would want to do modifications for your bridging. I have already uploaded a video for some modifications with the Bosu ball for bridging with pregnancy, but for this one, we are going to go ahead and just go through a regular progression. So I'm going to have you start with your heels on the bar, and what we're going to do is I'm going to be looking for an articulation. So we're going to start with a neutral pelvis and a neutral spine, and your headrest is already down. So we're gonna go ahead and with your heels on the bar, and we're gonna articulate up. One vertebrae at a time, trying to keep that footrest or that carriage into the stopper, and we're gonna articulate back down. And we're gonna go ahead and roll up. And we're gonna articulate down. And so this is just a regular bridge. And in a moment we're gonna add some regressions, but right now I'm looking for her just to be articulating up through that bridge, that back, one vertebrae at a time, engaging through her hamstrings, engaging through her glutes, keeping that reformer into the stopper, and kind of coming up. I don't want to see one side in the pelvis lifting more than the other. She's keeping a really nice level pelvis, and then she's coming down. So on this next one, I want you to meet me at the top. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna push out through those heels. And then with control, bring it back in. We wanna avoid hyperextending through your knees. We wanna avoid dipping through your back and your pelvis. You almost imagine this is like a reverse plank, except for using your feet to stabilize you instead of your hands. So we want your body in one straight line. We also want to avoid you going all the way up onto your neck. It should just be lower down on your shoulders. And then on this next one, I'm gonna have you stop out, and I'm gonna have you articulate down, and then bend your knees and bring the reformer in. And then we're gonna articulate back up. We're gonna extend the carriage out. We're slowly gonna articulate down and bring the carriage back in. You're doing a really nice job showing me with control. I like how you're coming down as slow as you're coming up. You're breathing, and then so we're gonna meet back at this one. And on this one, we're gonna extend out while our hips and pelvis are down. And we're gonna slowly articulate up with straight legs, and then we're gonna bend our knees to come in. Keeping those hips high towards the sky. That looks great. Let's articulate down, and let's press it back out. Articulate your spine up. Bend your knees all the way into the stopper and slowly articulate down. All right, so you can go ahead and windshield wiper your knees side to side. If you need a deeper stretch, you can hang on to your silver pegs up here, and you can look the opposite side of your knees. And I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for long box. Okay, so I'm gonna have you hop off, and I'm gonna go ahead and put on the long box for you. And I'm going to adjust the springs to 1 red. And I'm gonna have you get on the box prone. So what I'm gonna have you do is put both your hands on the front of the box, and then you can put your one knee on and bring the other knee on so you're in an all fours position. And from there, you can go down to your stomach and extend your legs over the foot bar. We're looking for chest off the box, eye gaze looking forward, and I'm gonna go ahead and have you grab onto the ropes. Right above the metal clasp, there's some tape, and that's where I'm gonna have you do your hands. So from here, keeping your eye gaze looking forward, we're just gonna take those arms along the sides of the reformer and just bring them up to our hips. Engaging through that upper back, and then bringing them back forward, stopping in line with the reformer. So we're not going up any higher at this point, coming back up to our hips and bringing them back down. How's that feeling on your shoulders?
That's good.
Okay. If for some clients, if there are shoulder issues, we might want to reduce the weight, the springs to a blue, because it would be less resistance for their shoulders. But since she's pretty stable and her back is in good shape, no injuries with her shoulders, she's able to tolerate the red. So in this next one, we're going to progress to some T-pulls. So let's start with your arms out to the side, and we're going to bring them back to your hips. And I'd like you to stop in line with your shoulders when you come back towards your head. Keep them up in line with your shoulders, and now bring them back to your hips. There you go. Let's go for 4. This one doesn't take a lot. 3, I like how she's stopping, protecting her shoulder. She's keeping her eye gaze forward. 2. And we're gonna do 1 more. And that looks great. All right, so go ahead and just relax and let your body drape over that box for 1 moment, and you can hang those straps back up. Okay, so carefully, you can either come back into all fours position and crawl off, or you can just swing one leg to the side, whichever you prefer. And you made that look graceful. That looks amazing.
First time.
So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna flip it around and take you into a short box series. So for the safety of the client, we're gonna load all of the springs. So I'm gonna put on, that means 2 greens, 2 reds, and a blue. I also wanna make sure that the short box is centered on the reformer. I don't want it all the way off to one side because it's wobbly and unstable. I wanna make sure it's centered on the reformer and the headrest and flush against the headrest so that it's not gonna be able to go anywhere. From here, I'm gonna have you go ahead and take a seat with your feet on the reformer at this point. And there's a strap down here at the bottom that I'm gonna go ahead and pull up for you. And you're gonna stick both your feet through there. And what we wanna do is we wanna flex your toes to the sky so that you feel nice and stable. You are already naturally positioned. You have enough room for your lower back so that you can kind of start articulating back, and you're not gonna fall off the back of the box, but you also have enough room on the front. But that is important to place them in the correct spot on the box. Luckily, Jennifer already did it for me, so she made my job easy. She's sitting in a nice straight position. She's almost growing taller as we speak, getting taller through the crown of her head. And so from here, we are gonna just do some rollbacks. So we're gonna start with genie arms. And we're just gonna slowly articulate through our spine, one vertebrae at a time, rolling back as far as you feel secure. And then we're gonna come up, articulating one vertebrae at a time, bringing our head over to our toes, and then coming up in an upright seated position. Okay, starting at the top in a nice straight spine. And let's go ahead and back into that C curve, articulate all the way back down as far as you feel comfortable. And then we're gonna slowly come over, enjoying a nice little stretch at the end, reaching towards our toes, and then articulating back up. So you make that look easy. So we're gonna go ahead and progress this with your arms. So I'm gonna have you extend your arms straight out. And so now you have a little bit of less stability. So now we're gonna do the same thing. So let's go ahead and just articulate back. And this time we're gonna end, when we end, we're gonna end just in a straight seated position. And let's curl up, take a deep breath. And let's go ahead and articulate back, one vertebrae at a time. Pause here for a moment in your challenge zone. Let's roll up 2 vertebrae. Pause, roll up 1 more. Roll down 1, roll up 1, roll all the way up. There you go. And then this next one, we're gonna do arms above our head. And we're just gonna do a regular roll down. We won't do any pauses. I won't torture you that much. So let's go ahead and slowly articulate through that spine, engaging with our stomach, keeping our ribs in place, not spreading through that breastbone when we're back, and curling all the way up. And let's do 2 more. Once again, when we're kind of coming up, let's make sure not to splay through that breastbone, tucking in those abs, protecting that lower back. All right, that looks wonderful. So for this last one, I'm gonna have you hop off again, and we can do lots of changes on the reformer. But we are gonna be doing just some facing straps. So we are gonna start on 1 red, which I'm gonna reduce the springs to. And I'm going to have you sit facing the springboard with your feet through the headrest, or through the shoulder blades. Okay, and from this one, I'm gonna go ahead and hand you the straps. And we are gonna just start with some simple bicep curls. So I'm gonna have your fist face up, and we're just gonna keep our shoulders, our arms at shoulder height, and just curl them up and straighten them out. Keeping our head gaze forward, a nice straight spine. You're engaging through those legs. You're keeping that belly button tucked. This is looking without curling our tailbone. This is looking really, really nice. If you want to level up, if this is feeling too easy, you can change your position to your short straps. That will definitely make the bicep curl a little bit more difficult. But it looks like this is a perfect amount of strain for you right now. If it was too much, we can also reduce the spring. So from here, you're doing a lovely job. And what I'm gonna have you do is we're gonna level it up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of articulation coming down. And as we do that, so we're gonna C curl, just like we are doing C curve through our spine, as we do a bicep curl. And we don't need to go back all the way. That looks really great. Stopping there, and then coming back up. And slow with control, articulating down through our spine with that bicep curl, and coming back up. And let's do 1 more of these. You're doing a great job tucking that belly button, keeping your eye gaze forward, tucking your chin to your chest. So in this next one, you probably need to scoot forward just a tiny bit, and we're gonna bring our knees 1 knee at a time into tabletop. And we're gonna balance in a tabletop position here. How are you feeling? Are you feeling stable? So this is going to be progressing you into teaser, but we're gonna be adding a bicep curl. So from here, in balanced position, I'm gonna have you go ahead and slowly with controlled add a bicep curl. Go, trying to keep that chest up. Yeah. And I'm just gonna give you, you're doing a great job. I'm just gonna cue you through your back so you remember to where to, there it is. Let's try to do one more. That looks beautiful. On this next one, let's try to take one leg into a full teaser and keep the other one a tabletop. And if you can, on this next one, let's bring the other one to meet it. You're doing a wonderful job with this little tactile cue, keeping it there. And let's go ahead and bring it down. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. So that was just a little bit of what we can do on the reformer. There are obviously tons of other exercises that I would love to show you. So tune in for another video and we can go over some more. Thank you very much.